Well, hi there. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kite Swift Moves Trading Academy. And before we get started, I guess, you gotta love lawyery stuff. So here's your disclaimer. Before we begin, please remember that this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice or recommendation to buy or sell any security. Trading stocks and options involves substantial risk and may result in losses. Always do your own research and consult a licensed financial professional before investing. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So, what are we doing? What are we talking about today? What I want to show you is kind of like the process I go through when I'm looking at, for example, if I'm looking at a new or a different indicator. And what I'm want to show you is, well, how do I go back and test it? How do I look at it? How do I figure out the best way to utilize it? Well, I look at history. So like here, I'm looking at the Qs and I've installed this buy and sell strategy. And it shows you who it's by and all that. And you can install that. That comes, it's one of the indicators you can find on tradingview.com. And so I've installed this, and oftentimes you want to use more than one indicator. So I've got this, and this was the last one that I did a video on. So I've got both of these running right now. And so, Jerry, how would you use this? Okay, so you see on this indicator, when you're on the positive side of this middle bar, you're like in a buy zone. And if it's green, right, when it's red, it's starting to go bearish, and when it's green, it's bullish. Anyway, so see how you have this change of character up here, and what this is telling you is right here at this engulfing candle, that's when that change of character came about. And what it's telling you is before that, see, the trend was going down, and now it's starting to go up, and it broke that previous high right there. That's your change of character. You also got your first green bar right here on this other indicator. So you got two indicators that are saying, hey, Mr. Trader, something's happening. And if you look at it and put your thinking cap on, you realize, hey, it's going up. Now, if you'd have gotten into this trade, and if you would have stuck with it, we'll say all the way to here, you finally see that red, you start to see this red bar or pin, whatever, and you start to see this black candle here. So what would you have made on that trade? Just looking at two indicators, and don't take this the wrong way, but basically clueless, right? Not a whole lot of effort on your part. And so what I'm doing, I'm using this price range scale. And what I did is I clicked right here where this green pin started, and I went to the first red. So that would have been $3.91 price change. And we'll go over here and use my handy dandy spreadsheet as soon as I load it. And let's see. And what did I say? It was 391. Okay, 391. So you just type this in here. And if you'd have had 10 contracts, you'd have been looking at just under $2,000. See, but you can't just look at one example and go, woohoo, that's what I'm going to do from now on. You want to go and look at some other examples. And I like to go back into history and look at it. And I try to play out, like, you got to realize if this was happening live, all like from here over, none of that would be there. But I would be looking at this green pin, and I would have gotten in here, and I probably would have gotten out here, somewhere around here where it turned red. So that one's not going to be a super huge money maker, but again, what did you do? Not a whole lot of effort. So let's say you got in here and you got out there, which would have been up here at the top of this thing. So that's 227, somewhere around there. Say 210. Okay, what are we looking at? Easy $1,000. Okay, that's another example. You could keep looking at different examples, but the point I'm trying to make when you're analyzing this stuff is look at it from the perspective if it was developing live and you're looking at these indicators, would it tell you what to expect? It's not going to be perfect, not going to be perfect every time, but you're getting multiple indications that are agreeing with each other using technical data, and it's presenting this to you. So that's how I do it. And what I do, I typically go back and I'll look at about 10 to 20 examples and see, ask myself would I've placed the trade, and if so, what would I do? So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's one indicator. Here's another one that I'll turn it on and we'll take a look at it. Now, this one's called an RSI divergence indicator. The reason I looked at this one was somebody sent me a message and said, "Hey, you should take a look at this type of indicator." Now, what I would do here, because this gives you this here, it's bullish, right? I would look at that, and then I would look at this indicator down here at the action. And so, from if it were me, I probably would have gotten in about here, and I would have, when this started coming back up, I'd have gotten out there. So, what would be the price action on that if I did that trade? Whoops. Let me try that again. I stuttered on that key. All right, I would have gone. Wait a minute. I gotta get this thing out of here. Some days. Okay, let's try this again, Jerry. All right, so I would have gotten in here, and I would have gotten out probably right about there. So that's 164. Again, easy money. So again, look at numerous examples, and that's what you do. Now you could use three indicators. It's starting to get to be a bit much, but you could do it. Now you can also learn how to read the chart, and there's means and methods to understand this kind of thing. But if you're new to it, if it's if you need a crutch, you need a crutch, whatever you want to call it. If it's a tool, it's a tool for you. If it helps you make money in the market, I'm all for it. Okay. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And again, if you find it works for you, but before you just jump in and start using an indicator, select two or three, maybe four different securities that you like to trade, or you're thinking, oh, these are the main ones I want to trade, and go test those indicators and back test them, meaning look at the previous data. And just like we did just now, ask yourself, would I buy that based on the indication I have at the time? And if so, and then what's the result of if you had done that? And then calculate how much you would make, and it would start to give you an idea. The number one thing I can suggest to you is when you jump into a trade and you've got an expectation that it's either going up or it's going down. So you're either placing a call or you're placing a put order if you're doing options. And if that trade starts to turn around on you and gets back to where you started at, or maybe you lost a little bit, it's heading down fast. There's two thoughts that you can go through your head. One can be the thought, oh, well, I'll wait it out and it will come back. The other thought would be, it didn't go in the direction I predicted, get out, cut my losses. I can tell you from my experience that second option is your better option. If you've got a prediction in your head based on whatever your analysis was and it turns around, there's a reason for it, and just get out. And if you have the buying power when it starts to do what you thought it was going to do, you go ahead and jump back in it. But if you don't have the buying power, it's better to cut your losses at a slight loss than to cut your losses at a huge loss. It's really that simple. A lot of people just overcomplicate this stuff. It doesn't have to be. So, anyways, I hope you found this helpful. Take care. Bye.